I'm tapping into Nancy Guthrie. This is our remote viewing session 3. I've asked Nancy to help me help the searchers better identify her location. She shows me the center where my pinning happened, and she's panning out forward, looking towards, if she's looking towards where she's resting, just picture her pivoting in the circle and she can look around 360. So she's showing me the Saguaro East gates just to the right of her, behind her, and Tucson, Catalina Foothills directly to her left. And then, so she's panning, well, forward and left, but all to her left. She's panning forward to the left, and she shows me the Broadway launch pad and is validating that location. And then she shows me she can see the houses in the distance, like Oro Valley in the community, right from the very beginning of that trail. When you look out, the mountains don't start for a little bit. You can see houses. And then she's showing me how the mountain sort of starts to get bigger and bigger, and the peak. And then she directs me, goosebumps, right underneath her is the main trail. Like you can see it on Google Maps. I'm going to pick it up and show you on Google Maps. She shows me the main trail, and it's all sandy. And then she pans to another trail. It's like another trail. So you got the main one, you've got the research location place, and I'm backwards, I just realized, and I forgot to change it, so everything is reversed, so that's not good, but I'll show you on the map. And then she pans to the research place. She's showing me the topography. So, and on the trail that's really close to that place, the research place on Broadway, going down that, almost like an L, there's another trail, and there's a marker. Take that other trail, and then there's like a signpost. And then I keep getting the feeling, and I don't know if I mentioned it in the other remote viewings, but I get the feeling like people are standing over top of her. Oh, I just got validation, some goosebumps. I said close, I think, to a trail. I think she's literally under a walking trail. Validation. Like people are walking over her body every day out there, 5 feet under every day. She is like right at the post of the signpost, and there's going to be a signpost with a large saguaro cactus, the tall one. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it properly, saguaro. And I've given you that in the other video, and shrubs, but it's at where a path sign is. I don't know how big the sign is. I'm going to go back in and see if I can get more. It's at the path where the paths verge, where they change. And I don't know if it's a directional, but let's show you right now. And then, boy, oh boy, I asked for a remote viewing on who is behind the mask. So listen up for that one. I've got things I want to say that y'all pointed out about the note and the ash ceremony, y'all. But first, let me show you this. I'm going to tell you my second remote viewing. I'm going to have some things to say, and then I'm going to do some more remote viewings. So buckle up. It's going to be a little bit of a long one, hopefully insightful for the searchers. And for all of you, love and light, keep watching. I so appreciate y'all for being here and doing all the YouTubey things and subscribing and everything. We are just 340 something away, 43, 44 people away from being at 10,000, which is like a milestone on YouTube. So if you've watched more than once, I would so appreciate if you would subscribe and do me a favor. Get the videos out there. Okay, let's look at the Google map. Okay, so let me zoom out, but this is kind of the middle point. And well, I'll zoom out in a minute, but I'm pretty sure based on where I've pinned, this is what you're looking for. This is this main trail, the wide one here. Okay, and then there's another main trail here, but there's like this trail here, this crossroads. I think you're looking for a signpost somewhere in here. So let me back out so I can orient everybody, because this is kind of around where I've pinned in here. Okay, if I go back to my original pin and compare it, I'd have to go and do that, but I am not doing that right this minute. But if I zoom out, she's kind of showing me like as if she's here. And here is the park east side, right? Entrance, I was telling you, maybe even a little bit further down she might be, but I think it's there. And she's confirming as she's panning out. She's confirming. Let me show you the street view if I can. Can I show you? She's confirming this launch pad. Okay. There you go. Of the research center. The Desert Research Center. Okay. She's confirming that. Now, I see there's another gate here. I don't know if somebody got that open, went in. I'm not sure. But she's confirming that. And what I think is what she's showing is this main trail. This main trail. Okay. Oh, no, it's this one. I'm sorry. It's this one. This see wide one. This one. So when you go out, you're going to go to that one and look. These kind of join here. So I think you want to take the first one out. You want to take this first one out, stick on the main artery until you get to here, where there's another big trail. And I think it's in here that you're looking for these signposts. I'm going to just see where that is relative to the entrance. Here, yeah. Okay, so if it's about half, it's about in here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, you guys are just seeing this live. It literally just took me to a signpost. Oh my fucking God. Excuse my language. Thank you for the validation. Okay. Now, where am I? Let me, Loma Verde Wash. Oh my God. Let's see if I can locate. Oh no, I went too far. Loma Verde Wash. So that's here. Sorry, y'all. This is kind of taking a direction I wasn't planning, but we're here. So yeah, you're going to take that trail to this trail, to this watch, to this. Fuck, I think that's where she might be. OMG. Okay, I'm going to try to pan. I'm looking for saguaro. I'm looking for a big saguaro somewhere right around here. Oh, there's one. OMG. See it through the trees? Remember I said you're looking for low brush close to the ground and then a saguaro that's going to stand out? Okay, look at this. Let's go through these trees, y'all. What is that? How do I get over there? How do I get over there? Oh my God, boys and girls. Let's go back out. I'm sorry. You're seeing this live. I didn't expect it to take me to a sign. I hadn't even gone there yet. Like, OMG. But you see all the sand? Look at how thick the sand is, boys and girls. That's why she's under a freaking trail. She's under a trail. And it makes so much sense now because look at the tire marks. Look at the tire marks here. People have been in here four-wheeling. Look at the tire marks. Look at that. People are in here with four wheels and dirt bikes. And I said the saguaros were going to stand out. And look at, lo and behold, oh my God. I think that's where she is. I think you want to go right to under these saguaros. Oh my God. Because I don't see any other ones right here. Look at that, boys and girls. I mean, so that's where she was showing me. She was showing me. She was panning like from here and showing me this view. Let me show you. Like the houses here. And in the distance, how you can see all the houses here. And then how the mountain gets higher. And then how the mountain gets higher. So that's what she was showing me. And then she pans to the right. Y'all, seriously? So she shows me this main trail, and then you're going to hit another main trail, which has to be before this because this here. So there's another main trail. There it is. There it is. I'm going to go up and make sure. So there's going this way, like I said, an L. She shows me like an L. So there's one here too, but that's the entrance. So you're not going to go down that one. That is the entrance. You're going to go down this main trail right here, the thick one, all the way to this L here to here. To Loma Verde Wash. And if we just stay far out, let's just pan out even more. I don't want to go too far. It'll take me back to that sign. Look at the saguaro there. I was shown like it would be very distinctive. And I'm thinking, how's it going to be distinctive? They're everywhere. No, this is very distinctive, those saguaro. That's a very distinctive saguaro. They're the only ones you can see. Look at this. I'm going to try to go back out. Some more. One more time. I hope it doesn't take me back. Oh, thank you. I'm going to try one more. Hopefully I'm not pushing it. Shit, I pushed it. Okay. One more forward. Shit. Okay, now I'm going to go. I see I pushed it too many times. No. Okay. Come on, Leanne. Look at this saguaro right here. Look at this saguaro right here. Is that the one? Is that the one we're looking at? I told you it was huge. Is that the one we're looking at? I want the street view, please. Won't show me the street view of this. Why? Why are you not showing me the street view? Okay, let me try to go back again because, see, this is what happens when you play around live. My God. So we're in here. We're in here. I'm going to put the marker in because I've been watching it as I move out. We are in here. It's going to back out. No, I'm in the wrong spot. No, I'm not. So it's right in here, which is about what I was showing you when she was showing me like this triangle, if you will, like these points. She's kind of halfway, maybe a little bit closer to the museum. But let's see if we can get, I want to zoom back in here because this is very specific this morning. So yeah, so you're going to go to here to the Sonora Desert. By the way, 857 Tucson, they're all in court today. And yesterday I was thinking, oh, they're definitely not looking because they've got their court hearing today. It's June 30th, by the way, wishing them luck. And I've told you before, I have this uncanny ability to go and get on a stream and see exactly what I need to see when I need to see it. And lo and behold, 857 Tucson on his way over stopped here to Broadway. I'll show you that in a minute. So I think that means, I'm hoping that means that you're going to go look as well, 857, after you're done court and you have time. But if not, it's just a coincidence. So, okay. So now let's go back in one last time. I want to validate this. She shows me this main trail and then there's an L. So we're looking for paths that go direct to the other main path. And that is the first one, but that's not the one. She shows me you want to go down this main trail here, until you get to the next crossing, which is here. Let me just see. It's kind of it's oriented itself a little differently now. So we're looking at it instead of up and down, it's a more it's more, instead of a horizontal, it's a more vertical look. But that is the only really high like I can see it from here. So I think you're looking for that sign on this other trail. I want to just see, is this it? Is that the one? Is that the one? I can't get it to mark again. Why was it? It was doing it before. Okay, let's move on because, oh, let's try one more time. Is that where we were? See? There's a tall saguaro. So there's a few of them in there, but not where we were before when I panned out. Okay, I don't believe in coincidences, so let me just see. It took me there and I'm not able to do it on my own. Like, I can't do it now, but I was there, taken there instantly, as you noticed. So me and my guides, we're a team, and I think that's the higher power that took me there to that signpost. Now I can't remember where it is, nor can I get it to. I'm trying to change the okay, I'm going to stop playing around. I think I've successfully shown where that is. Let me see if I can get it back up before we stop and move on to something else. I'm going to just, okay. I have been trying here to get this to work on its own, and I cannot for the life of me get it to go to that location again. So I think that's a very, very big indicator of where I would go if I were the searchers right away. I would go down that trail to that first L, down that path, and look for that exact sign in those exact saguaros and start digging. That's exactly what I would do first. So let me tell you what I next did for a remote view. Then I want to talk about some things that came up after my last remote view that we discussed. And if there's time here, I'll do another remote view. I asked Nancy to show me porch guy's face. I had to do this so many times because I didn't trust myself, even though I was saying non-egoic, and I put myself in a hemisync state, which remote viewing, if you're new here, is something the CIA have trained and use. And I tapped into holosync, hemisync years ago in real estate before I even started meditating, and probably primed my brain for this, to be honest. So I didn't want to be egoic, and I did it so many times. Nancy comes in and goes, "You have your answer." So I said, "Show me who's behind the mask of the porch guy." And I see like this quick, like dissolving of the mask and this other layer. It's almost like there was a latex see-through filament of some sorts over under the mask, over the face. And then I'm slowly shown images of Tommaso, TC, over and over and over again. So go back to the remote viewing, show me who's behind the mask. And I get flashes of T, different pictures of him. And it's just the way it was shown to me. It's like they zoom out and show me in rushes, like, oh yeah. I keep asking, and so I keep getting the same pictures, and then I hear, "Why do you've got your answer from Nancy." And then over and over again showing pictures of C, and then all of a sudden, I'm in one of the remote viewings, I get a pan and I'm shown, the person that I think the second person is behind the bushes that I've been saying for months now. There was two people when he taps his hand. I'm showing the A in the A&T team not wearing a mask, fully clothed, standing behind the bushes when he looks over. And some of these things like that I report, like in the bedroom, like the T opening and unsliding her locked door, like I'm doing the remote viewing and I'm not even trusting the results. They feel too obvious. So I'm validating over and over and over again before giving these to you today, because I'm just like wanting to make sure it's not my theory, that it's neutral. Because when you're in a remote viewing state, you're not supposed to have thinking. You're not supposed to be able to analyze. You're supposed to be in a neutral state. And I'm just testing myself to make sure that I'm still in that state. Yeah, so again, I keep getting the feeling that they're standing on her literally. And I think it's because she was trying to show me that there's a sign right there. Like she's right near the sign we just penned to. So y'all, that's where I would go. I want to talk about some other things now, because some of you commented, and I want to show you after the remote viewing too, the emails that I got for some of you, because one of you commented, "Well, Brian Eaton says you can't dig there." Well, love Brian, but he should interview local people, because one of the emails I got was from a local person who says those are one of the few places. Let me pull it up. I don't want to do anything or say anything inaccurate. So let me just pull that email up and show you. Okay, so I'm going to read to you the top part without showing the top part, because I don't want to disclose this person's name. So let me do that quickly off screen. I'm just showing you I've got an email up. Let me do that. When I get to the point where the name is passed, I'll pull it back up. Hi, I've been listening to your Nancy Guthrie videos with great interest and saw your maps today. I've lived in Arizona and know the Tucson area. Here is some information which may be helpful to you. I know we'd all like to see some closure for those who cared about N. Here are a few bits of information that may or may not pertain to this situation. With regards, and thanks for your work. And okay, now we can move into bringing it up. I had seen some rumors to this effect, but honestly was not sure that T was a sixth grade bio teacher. So I didn't even know he was. I've heard rumors, but I don't I hadn't heard that. I really hadn't got confirmation on that. But so thank you for saying that, for confirming that T is a sixth grade bio instructor at Basis Oro Valley, a charter school located in Oro Valley, which is where the address I gave the FBI, I believe, took Nancy when she was first kidnapped. Basis Oro Valley High School is just off Highway 77. Yep. Oracle Valley Road, which runs north to south. Yes. And 11155 North Oracle Road, Olivera, Arizona is the school. Okay. A biology teacher would regularly take students for outdoor trips to the nearby parks, which have school programs. They would know these two main nature education centers. There are two parts of the Saguaro National Park, one west of Tucson and one east. We are talking about the East Park Gate, not the West, East Park Gate. Okay. In the desert, the arroyos, Arroyos, Araros, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, Araros, or washes are really the only easy places to dig, and they are quite sandy. Yeah. Digging anywhere else is almost impossible. Water does run through the arrows when it rains. Please see the arrows marked on the maps for both the West and the East Park. So I sent these to the searchers, okay, but we are looking at the East Park entrance, okay? The East Park's entrance. So we are more up here, I believe. Okay, and then I'm just gonna zoom back out. And then we've got links just south of Tucson Trails. So the Sonora Desert Network Research Desert Learning Center, that is the launch pad. This area looks quite a bit more isolated at night. Yeah, definitely. So in fact, they've highlighted the trail that I want you to take on. And at the beginning right here, you're going to go south or away from Oro Valley, the opposite way from Oro Valley, from the highway to Oro Valley. So yeah, south, right? Okay. So that's the first one. Let me show you the second one. And I did send these to the searchers. And then I want to talk about the ash and how I kept getting references to my second remote viewing about ashes and ceremony. Oh my gosh. Y'all, one of you guys are brilliant. I listen to all your, read rather all your comments and try to respond to as many as possible. But this I hadn't even thought about until one of you mentioned it. So let's go to the second email and then we're going to go to that because that will blow your mind. Let's watch. Okay, same thing in this one. I'm going to read the email. Hey, hi, Leanne. I'm fairly new to your channel. I saw your latest video and decided to take a look. Here's some information that I found. You may already have this information. Many blessings. And then the person I'm going to share now so you can't see their name. And this came in right after my second remote viewing. So thank you. You were fast on this one. If you're looking at Google Earth with north at the top, the Desert Alert North Research Center is north. We see that. Immediately south, that road dead ends at the Broadway Trail parking lot, which is where you're going to park. If you walk towards the Ridkin Mountains from the parking lot, instead of taking the wide Vicum View Trail, you'll soon come to a junction. Is that the junction that we saw? Holy smokes. Because I feel like that was the trail that I came to, that Chance Trail. Can't remember, and I can't go back while I'm recording. So anyways, 2 intersection trails. And a farther east on the Chance Trail, you also come to the Pink Trail, Hill Trail. Yeah, that's that sign that had all those, that's the sign that had all those trails marked on it that we just ran into that I can't find again. So let's orient it simply. Your position, you're at the Broadway Trail East entrance area of the Saguaro National Park Rincon District. Facing east toward the Rincon Mountains, you'll take the Chantres Trail and go 0.5 miles east. The Chants Meek View Junction. This happens before Pink Hill. Order of the trails from Broadway going east, Broadway to Trailhead start, Chants Meek View Junction first, main intersection you'll hit, then continuing east, Pink Trail Junction later, farther east. So your answer is if you walk Chance Trail half a mile, you'll reach the Meek View Trail Junction, not Pink Hill yet. Pink Hill is farther east on Chance, closer to the Rincon Mountains, usually 0.7 of a mile beyond the main junction, depending on the exact route. Okay, so I said half a mile-ish. So yeah, so there they've, thank you for doing this, sent this map. Broadway Trail, Chance Trail, yeah, Pink Trail. I don't think it's all the way to Pink Trail. And then they, whoops, let me not show that response. East Broadway Trail, right? So we're going down. So she's taking them up this way. I'm saying go south. I'm saying go south now that I've, yeah, you want to go down. She's taking them north. So I do not suggest that. But I just wanted to share and thank you, everybody that's been sending me things. But no, now that I've just gotten the results that we've gotten, she's taking you to the top one. We want to go to the second one down. Okay, the second. So take the L, like I said, go down and then parallel. Okay, now let's talk about the crazy letter and Monk's review. And oh my God, so in my last remote viewing, she's buried here, remote viewing 2 on locating Nancy. Aileen Roberts wrote, perhaps the burning you saw in your vision is tied to burning sage or something tied to ceremonial rites. Yes, I for sure was thinking that. I looked up the red flag meaning, and here's what it said. If you encounter a trail rider waving a red cloth or frantically waving their arm on a public trail or road, like those near the Tucson Mountains or Saguaro National Park, it's a universal safety warning. Wow. Interesting. Thank you so much, I said. That is very interesting. I just wanted to say, Google what Wiccan ceremony perform at a burial of someone. Google what Wiccans do at a ceremony for burial. I'm going to show you that in a minute because it's interesting, but it's also tied to, oh, and Jimmy, I want, like Jay Zimmer, I love your channel. The way we pronounce it is Saguaro National Park. Thank you, Saguaro. Okay. I want you, if I can get to the one, Jim, exploring with Jim. So Kimmer says, I just seen a video with a lady talking to Brian and said the desert, you cannot dig real deep. As it turns out, it's almost cement. Yes. Well, except for this location. And we've seen all the sand. And that's why I say Brian should have interviewed somebody local to the area because not all is created equal. Monk intrigue draws over the facial T. So yes, interesting that he's kind of identified what I just see in my remote viewing, if you will. Well, he hasn't said it, but you know, okay, let's stop here because this is wasting everybody's time. I'm going to read a couple more comments that I think are relevant. RC Pod 7 ID says, regarding Appalachia, Nancy was born and raised in Kentucky, Appalachia area. I didn't know that was an Appalachia area. Again, I'm Canadian, sorry. without researching. These are just things that I'm not aware of automatically. Lots of Melungeons in areas of Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Washington. I think that's Washington. No clue if there were Melungeons in her family, but she may have had an interest in them. Melungeons were a mysterious mixed race, including Native American, the Cherokee, or South in Cherokee, North Carolina. Interesting you saw these things. Thanks you for your time and effort. Yeah. And okay. The last comment. Somebody asked what Nancy was wearing, and I see her all in black. I see her in black. Jewel, thank you again for your most generous $199.99 USD super chat. You are incredible. Thank you. Oh, yes, Flinner, this is the one. Standing in ashes on scorned earth. Oh, my God. Literally. Guess what hit me? Guess what hit me after that? Y'all, I don't watch Monk's Intrigue a lot. I've watched his gate video because I had already done one similar to that, and that was very interesting. And I did watch, I don't know if I've watched a full, not that he's not interesting. I do like him, but just don't have a lot of time to watch everybody. There's so many people out there. But this I did watch, this other one, because he talks about the card. He talks about the card and that he thinks that the card was signed as an afterthought. And I had described to you a ceremony. Let's read what the Wiccans do in ceremonies. And oh my God, I think I'm getting validation. I think, assuming my remote viewings are all correct, and there was a ceremony with 4 people that I said I saw burning. Oh, I'm getting validation. And then we get the card, which I hadn't even literally had to heard it, but again, one of those things I hadn't focused on, the card, all that much. And everybody was talking about it in the last week because of the words and, burial and ashes and burning. So the results are, what do Wiccans do in a burial ceremony, are that the Wiccan burial ceremonies focus on honoring the earth and celebrating death as a natural transition to the summer lands and afterlife of peace and rest. Led by a priest or priestess, mourners cast a sacred circle, invoke the 4 elements, and share healing chants and stories. Invoke the 4 elements. Water, wind, air, right? We've got fire and earth. Was there fire used? Wiccan burial ceremony, sometimes referred to as crossing the river right, very widely by coven and personal preferences. However, they generally follow these specific practices. The sacred circle casting the ceremony takes place in an open, natural setting like a forest, garden, or seaside. Attendees form a circle around the burial site and create a safe, sacred space. I did get this feeling like they were down like the 5 feet, standing around the box casket. Not sure if that happened, but I did get that sense and flash, like when I said when they were leaving, like in this procession. Invoking elements. The clergy or participants invoke 4 elements, natural elements: air, fire, water, and earth. This honors nature and the belief that the deceased is returning to earth. So if she's buried in earth, they've got the earth. If they had a fire ritual, which my dad said, and I now believe, given the card reference, fire, then we've got air. We're out in the elements. We just need to add some water and make this a full-on ritual. We light candles and we chant blessings and speak to the departed. Loved ones take turns stepping into the sacred circle to pay their final respects, share stories, and say their goodbye. Natural burial. Wiccans often prefer eco-friendly burials. The body is usually not embalmed with harsh chemicals. Instead, it's wrapped in a natural shroud or placed in an unvarnished wooden casket so it can naturally decompose and return to nature. Planting a memorial. Instead of headstones, some Wiccans plant a tree or lay a simple garden space over the grave to symbolize a new growth. Well, I told you about being the garden looking similar to the saguaro with the plants around it. Okay, y'all. But then Monk goes and says, as he's dissecting the difference in the writing, that he thinks the signing of it when they brought it out and did the perp walk. So here we are, the card. Mama, we miss you so much. Our hearts are broken. We are standing on ash, on scorched earth. I think this, and then Monk's intrigue, which we'll play here in a second, he thinks because the signature on the bottom was done afterwards, this is the card they all came out in procession to put out on the memorial that's then since been removed. But Monk thinks that this signature was done as an afterthought. And I was thinking, was this written for the ceremony? Were they literally standing on scorched earth when this was written for her at her ceremony, which I talked about, and then signed afterwards and walked down that procession for the world to see? Mama, we miss you so much. Our hearts are broken. We are standing on ash on scorched earth. But, Mom, though we are surrounded by so much darkness and uncertainty, our love burns bright. We love you, Mommy. We miss you so much. Our best friend, signed Annie Tommaso and Olma. And as you can hear very briefly here, listen to Monk.
Isn't so heavy-handed as Annie and angles the tip of the marker almost straight down to get those thin, lanky letters. Now notice how different Annie, Tommaso, and Olmo are written. Look at the O's in the names, okay? Compare it to the O's written in the body of the card. Whoever wrote the O's in the names always slants it towards the right, okay? Now you can't unsee it, right? Whereas Annie writes just a regular standing O, which leads me to believe that adding the names was an afterthought, not by Annie, but by someone else. That someone else came in after and pretty much made Annie's inclusive letter that she's trying to encompass the entire family and loved ones or whatnot. And by adding names, that person made this an exclusive letter. And so I do believe that Annie wrote this with the idea that it was to encompass all of what her family is feeling, which would include Savannah, it would include Cameron, and anyone else who loved her mother.
Now, I'm not so sure if I agree with Monk. I am now thinking that that was written for that ceremony on the literal scorched earth and signed later for the world to see. I want you to notice Tommaso's shirt. Books are magic. There's the card. There goes the card. So the last thing, I was going to do another remote viewing, but we just don't have time today without it getting to be a longer video that I know you guys really want to watch. So I have so many of the things I want to talk about. YouTube is suppressing me if I do too many videos, the second video. So yeah, my apologies. But I will talk more about the neighbors and her friends in the community there after learning some things that Karen and Chris from the interview room discovered next in the next video. But I wanted to just let you know, I said I was describing them in my last remote viewing as crows, but truly they're bigger. We're ravens, more raven than crow, because ravens are much bigger. So I didn't know if you had ravens in Tucson. And so sure enough, you do, but I wasn't positive. But ravens, I wanted you to know, are powerful spiritual symbols of transformation, deep wisdom, and unseen messages. In Tucson desert, seeing one is a reminder to trust your inner voice, adapt to sudden changes, and look at your life from a new point of view. Breakdown of the meaning. Ravens mean change, guiding you through big life shifts, wisdom, sacred knowledge, and problem-solving connection. They act as messengers between the spiritual and the physical worlds, and in many traditions, they're spiritual guides. So they, in the Sonoran Desert, which is ravens in the Sonoran Desert adaptation, just like the desert itself. Ravens are masters of survival. They thrive in tough, dry environments. Their local indigenous cultures, then their lore, they are celebrated as clever tricksters, creators, and bringers of light. I like the word tricksters. That's somewhat interesting considering I saw loads of them in my second remote viewing. And spotting a raven in Tucson area means you have the strength to adapt to any challenge. Think of a raven as a helper. The last thing I want to say here is I don't believe that I find things by coincidence. Like I said this morning, getting ready to remote view, my daughter calls, my son-in-law comes over unexpected, kept getting interruptions, and then I go to remote view again and do this recording, and don't I see A57 stopping on his way to court at the Broadview Center. So I think he may be going to search. I hope so. And then he just posted an update that their charges were dropped. Hallelujah. So going back to how sometimes just end up taken to where I need to be, I was talking about I want to look up some spiritual leaders that are into Wicca who promote white magic, Wiccan magic, but who know about spells, because I really believe a spell, Wicca and cults, and chants and spells, incantations have been done, and ceremonies that are keeping the evidence hidden, suppressed, and really blocking the law enforcement's ability to find the answers and the evidence. So that's what I'm planning on doing, is I'm planning on looking for somebody who might come on the channel and tell us whether, based on what we found so far in the language and the dates, if they believe there to be some sort of element of Wiccan ceremony here, and if they believe there to be dark magic, can they help us cast a spell that would counteract that so we can get justice for Nancy. And last night, lo and behold, I see this new girl talking. I'd never heard her before. And she indirectly does this, but not directly. It's not the main focus of her channel. So, again, I don't believe in coincidences. So that's going to be what I'm looking into next. Love and light, everybody. Do all the YouTube things. And thank you for being here.